Orlando Arena, and for the Toronto Raptors, 21-21 on the year. 19-year-old Tracy McGrady and Doug Christie start in the backcourt. Vince Carter up front, Kevin Willis the center, Charles Oakley the other veteran up front along with Willis. For the Magic, 29-15 on the year. Penny Hardaway, he'll start at the point guard tonight. Nick Anderson the shooting guard, and up front Bo Outlaw. The center is Isaac Austin and Horace Grant, the veteran power forward. Joe Crawford, Jim Clark, and Bruce Alexander are our officials tonight. Let's go over to Craig Sager.
Well, it's a Florida homecoming for natives, Dee Brown, Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter. Dee Brown held a barbecue last night at his home in Iowa for the entire Toronto team. But for Vince Carter, the rookie, it's a chance to go home to Daytona Beach to see Mama Michelle. He slept in his own bed, went to the retirement of his high school coach, Charles Bickerhoff, spoke to the American government class of Karen Nielsen, and got his hair cut as usual from Nugget the barber. The only concern, Butch Carter says, stay calm, don't get too wired. Dick?
All right, Craig, thank you very much. So Vince Carter has his fans here, and several of the other Raptors who live in this area or nearby coming back here to play the Orlando Magic in another crucial game. The Raptors 8-12 on the road, and they're going to have to win some road games, Hubie.
Yeah, big thing tonight. The teams must take care of the defensive boards.
And the first shot missed by Willis, and here come the Magic, who were soundly thrashed by the Miami Heat last night, and now have to look out from below with the Indiana Pacers for home court as the playoffs move on. Horace Grant swings it around. Nick Anderson against Christie right now. 7 on the shot clock. Now 3, and Anderson is open for the 3 and hits. Good for Nick Anderson to get that stroke early.
Well, he'll attempt at least 4 a game. Last night he launched 11 during the course of a very close game. But you see, that's his 59th make of the year. If he can just go to the basket a little bit more, Dick, they need to get him on the line.
Raptors trying to become the first team in history to go from last place to the playoffs with a record above 500. Right now they're at the 500 mark. And so the Raptors looking for history here. They won only 16 games a year ago. Here is Bo Outlaw with the lay-in. The basket will count in the foul, and it's good to see Bo Outlaw healthy, although he did sprain an ankle slightly last night.
Yeah, he missed 19 games with a problem in his leg. And you got to look at this guy and say he's high energy. We know that he scores in transition or on offensive rebounding. He's a garbage hustle type of player.
And Butch Carter of the Raptors has called a 20-second timeout early here in the game. The personal foul was called against Charles Oakley, and there is Butch Carter, who has done a fine job. Comes from a big basketball and sports family in Middletown, Ohio. His brother, Chris Carter, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, and he played with several NBA teams.
Yeah, now Butch Carter, he played for me in New York, and one night in the Garden had 42. Butch could put points up on the board. He's done an excellent job with this team. They're young and they're long. You look at their backcourt tonight. They're 6'7", 6'6" in the backcourt, 6'7" at the small forward position. Very quick. Look for them to switch a lot on all types of screens, and then rely, hopefully, on good toughness inside from Willis and Oakley.
And of course, Chuck Daly, who was a coach with you at Duke University, and Daly, an NBA champion, 2 years as coach of the Detroit Pistons. Outlaw missed the free throw, and the Magic leading 5-0.
Big thing here with Orlando, Dick. They have a ton of talent. A lot of good, talented players on the bench. But no one can seem to put their finger on why they are struggling so badly in scoring.
Carter, guarded by Outlaw, finally puts up the 3. High rebound, and comes down to the hands of Ike Austin. But the Orlando Magic, as you point out, not a good shooting team. Trouble scoring. In fact, they're the only team in the conference with a winning record with a lower shooting percentage than their opponents. That's kind of unusual. And there is Austin hitting the jump shot, and it is a 7-0 lead. Last night, the Magic took a 9-0 lead over the Heat.
Big thing with Orlando, they've got to get out and get easy points on the fast break.
Doug Christie, and they're going to call the offensive foul against the Raptors away from the ball.
See, I like what Butch Carter did early. They ran out on a little bit of a snide on him. He called a timeout, came in, talked to his guys. But what they have to do now is adjust. Now, if they don't, and they still start to get buried, he's got to use a regular timeout and regroup them. This is a big game for them.
Yes, it is. Coming off a win against the Wizards after a loss to Atlanta. There's a steal by Christie, who's 3rd in the NBA in steals. Gets the pass back, spins his way up. The tip is missed by Carter, and McGrady powering inside, and the Raptors maintain possession. 2.5 minutes gone by in the opening quarter, and a bad pass picked off by the Magic.
So you hate to see guys throw one-handed passes because that defender moved, but the pass was already on its way. If you pass the ball with two hands, you can always take it back.
And Ike Austin, who has not rebounded the way Chuck Daly would have liked, coming over from the Clippers after his time with Miami.
Good point. Hardaway and Anderson are averaging more rebounds than Austin as the center.
That's hard to believe, but it's true. Vince Carter, with his first field goal of the game, he committed that foul the other sequence.
And there's Mom sitting in the stands right now. You know that Vince Carter, they knew he could score. They felt he had great hop. Little did they realize he was going to be their best defender. That all came totally unexpected.
Outlaw leaves it for Austin inside, and Austin, having trouble with his inside, follows up.
Look at this.
And 3 times is a charm for Ike Austin.
Now that's inexcusable, mainly because Oakley and Willis had inside position and Austin was going up over the back. That's what we told you at the beginning. Taking care of the defensive boards is key here tonight. Now just keep an eye on Austin as he lays it up. You're going to see inside of him Oakley and Willis, 2 guys who are known in this league as very rugged rebounders. Instead, Austin up over the top. We just gave him a little slap saying that he wasn't rebounding. He must have heard us because he went right in there and just destroyed these 2 guys.
Bo Outlaw committing the foul at the other end. Christie missing from the perimeter, and it'll be Orlando's ball. So the Magic off to a quick start, leading 9-2. The only points for the Raptors by Vince Carter.
I don't like what Toronto's doing in the early going. Everything is a jump shot. They're not taking advantage of their quickness off the dribble and their slashing ability.
Horace Grant working his way in against the rookie or second-year man McGrady, and the ball knocked away. Oakley has it, and you know that Grant will be going against McGrady as much as he can if that's the matchup.
Now Tracy McGrady, only 19 years old. You're looking at here, he's got a world of talent.
Here is Oakley with plenty of time on the shot clock. Charles Oakley hitting the jumper. So Oakley, who is second in rebounds, one of the best free throw shooters and passers. His role is unchanged here in Toronto. He rebounds, does the dirty work, a tough guy and a fine defender.
Well, he's like the 4th or 5th option on every set that they run.
And it's always been a sense of frustration for him. Here is Austin, and a good pass that time by Nick Anderson. So Ike Austin has 6 of the Magic 11 points.
Well, what happened there was the man playing the screener tried to help out on Nick Anderson, and the screener just stepped right up to the basket.
Carter guarded by Outlaw. Carter goes big slide, and it's through by McGrady. So Carter with a great move to the hoop, but McGrady powers it through, and it's 11-6.
Now, when you look at him, he's the point guard out here tonight. He's 6'8", so don't be looking at him on your television and think that he's only 6 foot or 6'1".
No, he's got size, and that's the length that you talked about. A big plus for the Raptors. Here's Penny Hardaway feeding Outlaw going in. The ball knocked away and off the knee of Bo Outlaw. So the Raptors will take over in our first time out of the game. Full time out.
Excellent defensive coverage that time. Long arms, good hands, deflections.
Raptors coming in a 3-way tie with the Knicks and the Cavaliers, a half a game, but 1 in the loss column behind Charlotte. And of course, the Knicks are playing Charlotte tonight. Cleveland also in action, so we could see a big scramble still at the bottom of that playoff race, UB.
Well, everyone thought that in the 50-game schedule, 25 wins, 25 and 25 would get you in the playoffs. Might not happen, Dick. You can see that 7 teams are in the race for playoff spots 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Pretty tight, and Butch Carter thinks 4 more wins will do it for his team. Here is Carter with 3 on the shot clock. A fall away by Vince Carter does not drop, and Oakley picks up the offensive loose ball. Nearly halfway through this opening quarter, Grant is on Carter, spins his way in, and a block by Bo Outlaw. Carter is 1 for 5, and Outlaw known for his shot blocking ability.
Yeah, first of all, everyone's up thinking that it was goaltending. The ball was short, plus I thought he got it on the way up anyway, but that ball did not have a chance of going in.
So it remains 11-6, and Christie very nearly picking up yet another steal.
Oh, excellent. Hop. Look
Great
up.
hop.
Look up.
And they get Christie. Willis was down court. And here is McGrady. Not a good pass by Christie to him, but the Raptors maintain it. Oakley tries to get a little fancy, and the Raptors had everything but good passing on that sequence.
Charles should have attempted the shot. That's his range, and that's where he usually gets the majority of his points, either that or on a putback on a second shot attempt. But that pass was a bullet. You always like to see guys throw a bounce pass in that time because the guy was moving.
John Wallace, who has given the Raptors some pretty good scoring punch off the bench, has come into the game for Toronto. Another one of those young players that you were talking about.
I tell you that the future in Toronto is bright. They have excellent talent. They are loaded with big men, 6'10" or better, young guys. They have a couple of guys on the injured list with size, so the talent base is here.
But they decided not to only play the kids. They wanted to win this year as the pass goes off the hands of Penny Hardaway out of bounds. And this team, that is why Oakley and Willis are on this club.
Well, they opened up a new building once the season got underway. They were 1-5 in the old building. Now, in the new building, it's sold out for the rest of the year. The people are behind this young team, and it was an excellent decision by management. That's why we have Oakley and Willis here, and then naturally they kept D. Brown.
Here's the pass from Carter off of Oakley, and Nick Anderson behind Penny Hardaway, passing very sloppy in the early going here. Under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and Horace Grant misses from outside. And when they brought in Willis and Oakley, they said, you're not here to babysit the young kids. We really want to try to win something here. So those two veterans have been more than satisfied. Here is McGrady with a three from the corner. Tracy McGrady, who's making only his second start of the year, and only a 17% shooter from threes, makes good.
Well, he's the type of a guy who very seldom attempts threes. He's now 6 for 27, but you know that the talent base is there. They questioned his range when everyone tried him out when he came out of Mount Zion Christian Academy in Durham, North Carolina. All the teams worked him out. They saw the talent, Dick, but they thought his game was 17 feet down. But hey, he's been around now. This is his second year, and he's developing range.
And he picked up 20 pounds, so he's getting a little thicker, although he still looks a bit thin. Illegal defense was the call against the Toronto Raptors. And Darrell Armstrong has come in the game to the cheers. You talked about him, and there is Strong, who has come in as well. So Derek Strong, Darrell Armstrong, check in the lineup for the Orlando Magic. Both teams with good benches, and there is McGrady as he steals the pass and puts on a over-the-shoulder stuff. 7 points for McGrady, and the Raptors, who started the game 0 for 5, have tied it up on a 7-0 run.
Well, he's playing in front of the home folks also here from Bartow, Florida. He transferred for his senior year up to Mount Zion up in Durham, North Carolina. But they have guys who can really get after it here.
Derek Strong missing the perimeter shot. Michael Stewart has come in the game for the Raptors. Former Sacramento King, as Charles Oakley throws up a brick.
Good call.
And a foul called against the Raptors, and that will be on Michael Stewart, his first.
Yeah, they caught him on a push-off, no doubt about it. He had both hands in the back and gave the push. Now, Stewart is an excellent case here. A good study because he was not drafted out of University of California, was a walk-on free agent a year ago at Sacramento, became their starting center in the second half of the season. Toronto signs him, and they think he's got some talent.
Penny Hardaway with a great baseline pass. And it was Outlaw with the basket to break the tie. The Magic leading 13-11. Orlando trailing Miami by a game, but 2 in the loss column. And off the hands of Stewart and the Orlando Magic. Again, Penny Hardaway, now the shooting guard. That's the position he prefers, with Darrell Armstrong in at point guard.
Good call. You cannot put your hands in the back of a post-up man.
Stewart with the shove, called for the foul, and a timeout with the Magic leading by 2. Magic lead the Raptors by 2, and coming up next, the collision between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Utah Jazz for the best record in the NBA and supremacy in the West. We've been talking about Darrell Armstrong, who come off the bench. He did start for a while, and of course the new parameters for the sixth man award, and there you see other candidates. Is if you come off the bench more than you start, you're eligible for the award.
Well, you know, they started him at the point 11 games. He averaged 15 points, 7 assists, but how about 5 rebounds for a guy who's 6 foot? He's like the energizing guy. He just signed a 5-year, $18 million contract. You're happy for him because he's a young guy who was not drafted out of college, went abroad, played in Cyprus, Spain, CBA, USBL, paid his dues.
And coming off the torn rotator cuff, which limited him last year, Hardaway misses the turnaround and the rebound by Oakley. Penny Hardaway yet to score in this game, and the Magic leading 13-11.
Toronto playing without basically a point guard. They have Evan Williams in there right now. This is not a very quick team in the open floor.
John Wallace has his shot blocked by Bo Outlaw, and the follow misses. And Oakley, and there you see the reason why the Raptors beat the Magic last Monday, the offensive rebounding, and they're doing it here in a close game.
Yeah, they're getting on the glass. They're making things happen, and I think as this game progresses, they're going to be a major thorn in Orlando's side. Fatigue is a factor. This is Orlando's 5th game in 6 nights.
Armstrong picked up by Oakley on the switch. Derek Strong, watched by Williams, fires up the shot, and Wallace gets the rebound.
Yeah, they get away with a major foul there. You know, he was definitely hammered.
So Alvin Williams in the backcourt, Christie handling the ball, and a near steal by Armstrong. A little lackadaisical pass that time by Christie, and he's nearly had several turnovers in the early going. Williams will inbound. He has started 40 of 42 games for the Raptors. So it's Oakley, along with Stewart, Williams, Christie, and John Wallace. Christie with the ball. Williams with a 2-point attempt out of bounds, and the Magic will get the ball.
Right now, Toronto is herky-jerky. By that we mean they're pushing shots up. They're not squared up, getting good looks at the basket. They're 5 for 19 from the field right now. And then what's happening is the long rebounds, Dick. And with long rebounds, your guys can't get on the glass as much.
Derek Strong missing again from the perimeter, but because the Magic settling for outside shots, Toronto game, and there is a 3 by Doug Christie. So Doug Christie, who is the second leading scorer on the team and their top playmaker, and the talk about defensive play, Butch Carter saying he deserves to be on the all-defensive first team. And a 14-13 Raptor lead, no basket if it goes, and a foul before the shot.
See, that was a cheap foul by Oakley. Now that's 2 that he's picked up, and both of them could have been very easily avoided. All Charles had to do was move his feet in that situation and taking a charge.
So Oakley, who has scored 2 points, has 2 personal fouls. Christie goes out of the game, and Vince Carter comes back in, and D. Brown. You mentioned D. Brown, who leads the NBA with 108 3-point field goals. And how many people would have guessed that?
Oh, absolutely, Dick. The big thing is he attempts 7 a game, so he'll be launching.
First shot by Strong is blocked inside by Stewart, and now Williams comes down with it. Raptors leading for the first time in the game, 14-13, and D. Brown. That's 109, and it's 17-13, and as Butch Carter says, if D. Brown is hitting his threes, we're in good shape.
Well, the big thing now with this unit, see, this is a smaller unit, and it's very quick. And if Williams can push the ball, D. Brown can run for the spot-ups.
Interesting how the Raptors can come at you several ways. They can go long, and they can go quick. 20 seconds to go in the first quarter, and Penny Hardaway throws it away. Strong was the man he was looking for, but his back was facing him.
Well, see, the people are very upset right now. They do not like the chemistry out here. Passes are being forced. That ball was thrown from the knees down. That was a very difficult catch for Strong.
7 turnovers already for the Magic, and they only have 2 points in the last 7 minutes. Thus a 4-point deficit, and Carter over Strong.
Oh,
Vince Carter with his second field goal, and the Raptors lead by 6. And the final shot of the quarter, Armstrong, and it's going to count.
Yes, it is, and they fell asleep. Everyone thought that the clock was going to go off when the ball is released. Smart play by Darrell Armstrong.
And Armstrong was there to get the rebound off the glass, and he laid it in. So Vince Carter here in Orlando, where he's from Daytona, 70 miles away with the fall-away shot. And the score is 19-15 after one. 4 in the last 7 minutes and 18 seconds to have a 4-point lead.
Dick, they're 3 for 4 in 3-point attempts. And now that D. Brown is in, you have to batten down the hatches because our chair might go up here 3
Darrell Armstrong starts the second quarter into Derek Strong, who loses it momentarily and has it rejected inside. And Michael Doliak, the rookie from Utah. So Doliak from Utah and Harpring from Georgia Tech, 2 rookies who have certainly made a contribution to this team. And it's 19-17, so the Raptor lead is down to 2. D. Brown guarded by Darrell Armstrong. Outlaw picking up Carter off the mark for the 3-point attempt. Scramble for the loose ball, and we'll have a jump.
Stewart did a nice job in deflecting that rebound. Mike Doliak from Utah is 6'11", and he has a beautiful jump shot game. He can also post up, but what he is he's dangerous because he takes centers high, and it opens up. He can hit that jump shot from 20 down to 10 feet, and he has a nice in-between game.
12th pick in the draft, and he plans to go to medical school in the offseason. Intends to be an orthopedic surgeon, and led the Utah Runnin' Utes to the NCAA championship game the year before last, where they lost to Kentucky. So Alvin Williams, guarded by Nick Anderson. Williams going strong to the hoop and gets the basket. Good basket by Williams.
Now Williams is 6'4", and he's out of Villanova. Played last year at Portland. Did a nice job for them when they had injuries in the backcourt.
Clearing out for Armstrong momentarily, and there is Doliak posting up against D. Brown. Now here's Outlaw also against D. Brown, the smaller man, so the Magic could not take advantage of height advantages in the post.
See, they did a good job double teaming. On the ball rotation, Toronto rotated out perfectly, and then it gave the mismatch for Orlando inside. But, you know, anytime that you have good hands and you're working hard, you're looking for that turnover.
Minute and a half have gone by, and the Raptors leading 21-17 early in the second quarter. John Wallace with a missed shot, battle for the loose ball, and here come the Orlando Magic. Horace Grant, that's his shot, and he hits. Grant, who was a 50% career shooter until last year, but now the lowest of his career at 41%. And Chuck Daly, can't explain why Grant is having his troubles.
Oh, nice move.
Williams inside feeding Stewart, and a Orlando foul. Good quickness in there for the Raptors.
Alvin Williams is clever with the basketball, off the dribble. He's not explosive, he's clever. And by getting into the lane that time, Stewart could have had a layup, but he waited too long to make his move to the basket.
Doliak committing the foul, and here is Michael Stewart, who will give you the active live body, even though he came in a bit overweight for the Raptors, and part of a very effective bench. I think the benches will play a big role in who will win this game tonight.
Both benches contribute a third of the points, over 30 in each case. So we know that we have guys coming in here. They know their role is to score. Some benches just come in, it's a defensive group, maybe with only 1 or 2 scores. Out here tonight, we have some guys who can put the ball in the hole.
Armstrong's air ball, and here come the Raptors, who are leading by 4.
There it is.
D. Brown, in and out. Doliak, good position for the rebound.
You have to pay attention in transition to D. Brown. You've got to get to him because they'll hit him quickly, and he has the green light to launch the 3.
And it's good to see his confidence back after a couple of shaky years with the Boston Celtics. Spent 7.5 years with the Green, and the Magic turn it over again as Kevin Willis comes back into the game. The Magic, with 9 turnovers here in the first half, trail the Raptors by 4. All right, Ernie, thank you very much. Knicks trying to continue the playoff run. It's been 12 years since they did not make the playoffs. A tough finishing schedule, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, the other team, also even at 21 and 21, Huey.
Well, you have to like what Charlotte has done. The trade that brought them Eddie Jones and Campbell, fantastic. But Phils and Wesley, Chucky Brown, all doing a terrific job. It's an exciting team to watch these days.
D. Brown in the lineup for the Raptors. We told you Kevin Willis checked in. Vince Carter, John Wallace, and Alvin Williams for the Raptors. Armstrong, Matt Harpring seeing his first action. Started some, and a coach's dream. Harpring from Georgia Tech. And Outlaw went out, really gave the Magic a big boost off the boards and in the scoring department.
Well, he's their 5th leading scorer, one of their toughest defenders at any one of the number of positions.
Here is Carter with a leaner, and then tried to pass it in, but they're going to call the foul. It was on the wrist or the elbow of Carter, and Harpring gets called for it to the displeasure of the crowd.
Well, you know, Harpring and Carter have gone up against one another many a time when Georgia Tech entertained, or UNC, North Carolina, entertained Georgia Tech.
So that'll send Vince Carter to the free throw line. Carter, more than just a scorer and a spectacular player, actually has the highest number of block shots in the league for a player who is not a center or a power forward. So he'll do it at both ends.
Well, he's got the total package, Dick, because when you say that a small forward is getting you 6 rebounds and he's not a 7-foot guy, this guy is working the glass and doing a terrific job. Then you say that he can stop people, actually stop people defensively, you know you got an all-around player.
Goliak with the air ball, and Darrell Armstrong alertly was underneath. Here is Nick Anderson with a quick release. He hit a 3 earlier, and Horace Grant tips it in. So that'll bring the Magic to within 3.
Big issue tonight. Take care of the defensive board. Why? Both teams average close to 15 offensive boards a game.
Willis working against the double team. Try to get a circus shot going or a foul, and got neither. So here come the Magic. They're down by 3 with 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first half.
Toronto needs desperately for Willis to get it going here tonight and get them some play. There's a travel.
Goliak has the shot blocked by Willis, and then the foul is called. And Charles Oakley will come back in.
Yeah, you like Doliak's game. He's clever. He's very bright. So consequently, he's got the good ball fakes. And in that case right there, he gave that ball fake, got the defender to move, stepped right underneath and made it happen.
Oakley into the game, replacing John Wallace, who did not score, and Goliak misses. No, he makes the first free throw. The Orlando Magic have lost 5 of their last 6 games. Earlier, they won 6 in a row. Chuck Daly has had to scramble the starting lineup, and minutes have been a problem for what is now a pretty deep team.
Well, anytime that you say that you got Dominique Wilkins there,
right,
you know, as an extra player, when you do give him an opportunity, he's won a couple of ball games for you. He's only playing 10 minutes, and he makes it happen. What are we doing?
Williams misses a spectacular layup attempt, and then another shot doesn't go as Oakley got it inside.
Listen,
and a foul against the Magic, and that'll be the second on Doliak.
Are you running a horse contest down at this end of the floor? Well, what's going on here? I mean, the last 2 possessions, we've had 2 shots where guys are shooting the ball over their head without looking. Are they getting 3 or 4 points for degree of difficulty,
I don't
or
know.
what?
You know what? Maybe they ought to resort to that.
Right.
Willis makes good on the first free throw. Kevin Willis, who has given Butch Carter more than he expected, and asking him why today. Hey, he's available every night. That's number 1.
Yeah, they wanted a tough guy that would be in their lineup to line up and lead them. You know, when Kevin, he's been in 8 playoffs through the years. He averaged 16, 17, 18, and 19 in 4 different years in Atlanta. The guy's done it.
Harpring, they spread the defense, and Matt Harpring lays it in, and it's a 26-25 game. You know that a horse contest isn't a bad idea. We ought to do more of that. Little side activity here. Williams looking into Carter.
I was surprised that they even defended him when they spread the floor that wide. They didn't have to go out.
Carter over Harpring gets the basket. There's that old ACC battle again, and Vince Carter with 7 points in the game, a 3-point Toronto lead. Magic had the lead early, and then Toronto took over in the final minutes of that first quarter.
Now, Vince Carter has extra springs. He's got the real hop in his game. Now just watch how he turns that into a high percentage shot. Now he has done that now on 3 occasions. As he goes up and he turns in the air, it looks like he's going to end up with a bad degree of difficulty. Instead, it's released and it just hits the bottom of the net.
What a foundation to build on, and a very fortuitous trade for the Toronto Raptors with Golden State on that 5th pick.
Well, what's really nice about it all is that he also can help Tracy McGrady, his cousin, develop. They're two. They can hang out together. They live next to one another in Toronto. So it's good for both parties.
Doliak goes up and is fouled. Kevin Willis picking up the personal foul. So Doliak on the line with 7:11 remaining in the second quarter. Both teams seemingly still feeling each other out, as the Magic in a position now to tie the game.
Well, you can see what Harpering and Doliak bring to your second unit. Not only size and toughness, but both guys can score. So they are not a liability. Now, right now, Doliak has 6 points. He's only been in the game 5 minutes.
But this is the aspect of the team that Chuck Daly wanted, a little more toughness, to be more of Eastern Conference style, and he achieved that. Tracy McGrady, who checked back into the game, goes around Harpering, the double team. Willis finding D. Brown. Armstrong won't let him get off the 3, and the shot put jumper by Oakley, his familiar jumper, and Oakley now gives the Raptors the lead once again by 2.
Well, that's Charles' spot at the top of the circle on either side. For New York, he did it for years on end.
Harpering.
Nice pass.
Penetration and out to Horace Grant. So Grant in a groove right now has 6 points. And we're even at 30 with under 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Dick Stockton, Hubie Brown, and Craig Sager with you from the Orlando Arena. And open in the corner is McGrady, and that one misses everything. A 2-on-1 break with Harpering ahead of the pack, but a pass knocked away by McGrady on the low pass. So the Raptors avoided a 2-on-1.
That was just excellent quickness by McGrady.
We're tied with 6:10 to go in the second quarter. Coming up on Turner Sports, NBA action will continue. Big one coming up next. The Trail Blazers take on the Utah Jazz. And then on Monday night at 8 on TBS Superstation, the Lakers travel to Houston to take on the Rockets. Very well, it could be the first round matchup in the West when the playoffs come. And then a doubleheader on Tuesday, right back here on TNT. The Magic and the Pacers in the first of the doubleheader, Utah and Seattle. All coming up on Turner Sports. And the Doctors' former team, the 76ers, sitting pretty right now as the 5th team in the East, Hubie.
Well, in looking at Doc, I just go back to the old ABA days where the New York Nets won 2 championships, and Doc was the #1 player in the league at the time. He was so spectacular that it's only unfair that people who saw him play in the NBA, they thought they saw the best. They never saw the best, because Doc was spectacular night in and night out in the old ABA days. Then injuries to his knees kind of somewhat diminished a little bit of what he did in the NBA.
He kind of was the forerunner of the spectacular play.
My
There's no question about it. Here is Oakley looping it in. Carter! And the basket counts. And a foul as well. And that is one of the great. And Michelle Robinson is white, looking to the rafters. And that's what Carter did on this alley-oop play.
Now, see, he set a screen, and then as you step out to dunk, if you do not rotate and get to him, that is a planned play. He sets it, and as you come over the top, he goes for the lob.
And Mama loves it. She loves all of it. And Vince Carter will try to conclude a 3-point play. There are his numbers: 9 points, 3 rebounds, and trying to get into double figures right now. And the Raptors leading in this game in a close battle by 2 as Carter misses the free throw. Penny Hardaway in the game has yet to score. In fact, the top 2 Magic point makers, Hardaway and Anderson, have 4 points between them. Yet it is only a 2-point lead for the Raptors. Here's Ike Austin, who came back in. Harpering with a touch pass into the corner, and Penny Hardaway finally gets on the scoreboard.
Yeah, what happens anytime that Toronto switches. As soon as Orlando sees the mismatch, they take the guard right into the post. That forced the double team. Good ball reversal. Somebody's open.
Here's D. Brown into the corner, and the Carter goes out to Oakley. Good pass from Oakley to D. Brown. He's got it. That's his second three-pointer tonight. And the Raptors are up by 3, breaking the tie.
You have to understand, during his career, D. Brown's been in the league 9 years. He only shot 35% in threes. Now he's just setting new records, and it's just beautiful to watch because he's playing with incredible confidence. Now, this is just a good kick pass by Oakley, and D is not taking any time. There is no doubt that that ball is on his way.
And you mentioned the confidence factor, which has been shaky for D. Brown, one of the veterans on this team. Illegal defense called against the Raptors. That's the second time that's been called. Thus, the technical free throw made good by Darrell Armstrong. And it'll be Magic's ball leading or trailing Toronto by 2.
When D. Brown came out of college, he was a first-round draft pick. He was out of Jacksonville University, where he played small forward. Boston played him at a point guard. They played him at a 2 guard. Right here, all they do is they just give him freedom and run him as a 2.
Here is D. Brown again, and he misses the 3. Harpering battling for the loose ball, and it'll be the Magic's possession. On the other end, Vince Carter made quite a block for the Raptors, but the Orlando Magic with another chance to tie the game with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. The Raptors led by 4 at the 1/4 mark. Carter guarding Harpering. Here's Grant, and Horace Grant on the mark tonight. He has 8 points on 4 for 7 shooting.
That's the Horace Grant of old. For 10 years, you said he shot over 50%. Last year, 45. This year, 41. Why? Well, some guys think it's age. Some other guys think that he's not part of the offense. Some guys think that, hey, they have so many offensive guys here, his shot attempts are down.
3 times a member of the Chicago Bull championship effort. That was the first 3. D. Brown scrambles and gets the loose ball.
Nice.
The pass to Willis, who couldn't handle it. 17, plenty of time on the shot clock for the Raptors. McGrady hits another 3. So Tracy McGrady with his second 3-point basket, and that's 5 for the Raptors tonight.
Now, you know yourself, Chuck Daly and his staff told him when McGrady gets it at 3-point, let him shoot it. So what? He's 2 for 2.
And 5 for 9 for the team. So the Raptors are up by 3 again, and the Magic can come back. The Raptors come back with 3. Here's Penny Hardaway, and Hardaway coming in, averaging nearly 17. But in the last 11 games, Penny Hardaway has been over 20 points and doing it all as a rebounder and a playmaker.
Well, from the foul line down, he's very talented because he can finish with either hand, and he's got all the moves.
And the ball knocked away from D. Brown, and the turnover. 4 on 3 right now for the Magic, and Matt Harpering fights his way in, going for the loose ball. And there is Grant coming out of nowhere for it, and the shot from the corner doesn't go. And there is Ike Austin with the offensive rebound. And finally, a foul is called, and it'll be against Ike Austin. So all that work nets a foul for Austin. We'll be back in a moment with 2:42 to go in the half. Lead, and half of their points have come from the cousins, Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady. McGrady, by the way, and talking with Butch Carter, said, I treat him like a son. I make sure he has his 2 meals a day. I'm very hard with him, but I send him back into the game. And he idolizes Penny Hardaway and really outplayed him when the 2 teams played. So Butch Carter with a good touch with the youngsters, particularly McGrady, who he calls a young 19.
Well, you have to remember, in his first year, he came into the league out of high school. He did not have a good work habit. And in the NBA, you have to add upper body strength and then also lower body strength to hold your spot. He was accustomed to just coming in and jumping up over the top of high school kids. Now, finally, after fighting him for a year to develop a good work habit, over the summer he adds 21 pounds. Now he has his cousin here who comes from a great stable at UNC, knows how to work, and it's nothing but upside for the young man right now.
Doug Christie and John Wallace check in for the Raptors. Here is Isaac Austin with a pass to Grant inside. Blocked by McGrady. Great block by McGrady. And the Raptors leading by 2. Christie for 3. And the Toronto Raptors going wild from 3-point range. They are 6 for 10, and they've opened up a 5-point lead.
he kept bringing out that point at the top of the end. You have got to be aware of who you are guarding, and especially in transition. They want that three-point shot. And right now, Orlando continues to come back into the middle of the floor, and they are not charging at the guy who is spotting up, Dick, and it's costing them.
And Chuck Daly concerned about the three-point flurry by the Raptors as John Wallace picks up his second personal foul with under 2 minutes to go in the half. Outlaw with a pass to Austin. Very helter-skelter kind of style we're seeing on both sides, but mostly the Magic at this point.
Well, Toronto, they're trapping, and they're just sending guys out to trap the ball handler. Once you get the ball into the middle of the floor on them, at the top of the circle or foul line, you should be able to carve them up and lay it up.
Harpring from the perimeter hits. So Matt Harpring with his second basket, and the Raptors lead by 3. Of course, the Magic, 2 more losses than Miami, but just a half a game ahead of the Indiana Pacers. And those 2 teams were to do battle in the playoffs. Home court would be a factor there, too.
Oh, my. You can't.
There's Willis going inside against Austin, and finally a foul is called. They were going at it, muscle to muscle, and Austin with his second personal foul.
You can lay your forearm across the guy's back and hold him. But you cannot deliver a blow. Now, just watch what he does here. Now, he's going to deliver the blow right there. You're not allowed to do that.
Would you have been off the bench as a coach?
No. Well, it doesn't matter because you and I are standing here,
sitting.
Yes, we're sitting down and we're doing the game. And there's no sweat involved. Are you kidding? By now, my shoes would be full of sweat, all right? And you'd be soaking wet right through your shirt into your jacket. And you have 2 hours and 18 minutes of a roller coaster.
I think once I was in the 3rd row of a Knicks game and I heard the sloshing of your shoes as you walked along the sidelines.
Some nights, Dick, some nights are just tougher than others.
Coming up at halftime, it's the AT&T halftime report with Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson with scores and highlights. Here is Harpring. He hit the last time, and now again. So Matt Harpring finding the range. What a find Harpring has been for this team as the 15th pick.
See, he's the 2nd leading scorer in the history of basketball at Georgia Tech. He scored over 2,200 points. Not only that, but he's 2nd in the history of the school in rebounding. So you have a tough dude playing that small forward position for you. But you better get out and guard him because he can hit that shot.
Willis leaves it out for D. Brown. He misses this 3-point attempt. And the rebound, John Wallace with a turnaround.
Ooh.
And over the rim. Talk about over the rim. We saw it there. Raptors by 3, and the Magic hanging in there.
That was McGrady, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Oh, came from left field. Mezzanine time.
And here is a Bo Outlaw with a fake on Wallace, and the basket and the foul. And you know what? Wallace probably played him as well as he should there.
You just love Bo Outlaw. Guy was not drafted out of college, out of University of Houston, where he was the defensive player of the year and rebounding player of the year of that Southwest Conference. Now, he was in overseas, CBA, couldn't make it. No one would give him a chance. Clippers gave him a shot. He really took advantage of it. He worked hard. All of his baskets are going to be basically from the dotted line in the lane down. But he's going to give you high voltage energy, shot blocking, rebounding, and then a very good defender.
You know, the Magic have 2 players, Outlaw and Darrell Armstrong, who came out of nowhere with great energy to really boost this franchise that once had Shaquille O'Neal and a star-studded team that went to the NBA Finals.
Well, you know, Dick, now that we only have 2 rounds of the draft, guys say, well, geez, my life is dead if I don't get drafted. These guys are 2 perfect examples of people who are not drafted, who are now making it and are now making a lot of money because they both have signed 2 excellent contracts. Now, the other fact is that you don't give up on your game. It's not like the old days where there were 10 rounds of the draft. You got a chance to come to camp and show your wares and maybe surprise. Now you've got to go overseas or do it in the CBA.
Sometimes you have to go to Cyprus.
There you go.
Danny Shays has come in the game as they take the big people out to avoid a foul in the final seconds of this first half. A 1-point Raptor lead. McGrady with 4 seconds to go. D. Brown to Christie. Christie with a fake, steps back behind the arc and hits the 3 as time runs out. So the Toronto Raptors fighting for a playoff berth with 5 other teams, 7 of 12 from beyond the arc. And here's how Christie stepped back nicely and stroked it in for his 3rd.
Just a beautiful ball penetration, suck the defense in, great kick out, make the catch, ball fake, and then step up for your shot.
And at halftime, the Raptors with that 4-point lead, 47-43. Back at the Orlando Arena at halftime, the Toronto Raptors lead the Orlando Magic. A critical game playoff-wise for both teams. For Orlando for placement. For Toronto, it's getting a berth for the playoffs. There you see in the shooting percentages, the Magic have the edge, but watch the three-point percentages where the Raptors are 7 of 12. And how about that backcourt of McGrady and Christie outscoring Anderson and Hardaway, who, by the way, have shot 33% as a tandem in the last 4 games, so they've got to get it going. But it's been more than just the three-point shooting that has the Raptors in front now.
You get the extra points with the 7 threes, but they are doing it on the offensive boards. They have 11 offensive rebounds already at halftime, and they are 11-2 on fast breaks, because that's where they're making the majority of their threes. McGrady is having a sensational game. 10 points, 4 rebounds, a couple of blocks, doing a nice overall, and he's never played point guard before.
Only his second start this season, and he has 3 of those offensive rebounds. So we may be seeing Mr. McGrady when he turns 20, starting 4 games. All right now let's send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, thank you, Dick. The massacre at Columbine High School this week cut to the heart and soul of a nation. But there's no way to comprehend the pain suffered by those directly involved. With me, Wendy Lucero Shays. She and her husband, Orlando Senator Dan Shays, are from Littleton, Colorado. We can't explain why, but how does your community go on?
Well, all I know is you have to regroup. I used to compete as an athlete against Columbine High School. It was one of the best schools. They had the greatest of athletics, the support of the parents, and I just am devastated. I don't understand what happened. I still will never understand what happened. All I know is that Danny and I will go back there. We're going to go lend a hand. All we can do is reach out to the children and support the parents and children and to find out what we can do to help. That's all I know I can do.
When you go back in the off season, I know your husband Danny, that's what he does. He speaks at high schools. What do you tell these kids?
Well, I don't know what you tell the kids except for to give them the love and support and to try to move to a future, not think of the past, because at this point the fear will get you. So at this point they have to start from the future and say this is one of those most amazing oddities that will probably never happen again, but you've got to move through it and be strong and not let the fear take over, and that's something that's going to be very difficult for the kids to understand, but we're going to try to help them.
And as we were speaking, there was a moment of silence going on in Denver right now before the Nuggets game against Golden State. Dick?
All right, Craig, thank you very much. And through that tragedy and the darkest time, what about all of the things that people did in that community, the teamwork to try to pull that community together?
Well, you know, let's face it, it's overwhelming, and the grief is incredible. And as we all know, with 20 people still laid up in intensive care units and emergency sections, we know and hopeful that they are going to be able to right the situation and come out of it.
Foul number 13, Doug Christie. His first team foul.
Underway in the second half. Nick Anderson fouled by Doug Christie, who makes the first free throw for Anderson. Leading scorers, you mentioned McGrady has 10, Vince Carter 9 for the Raptors. Horace Grant with 8 points is the high scorer for the Magic. 1 free throw for Anderson. So starting the second half, the same 5 that started the game for the Raptors. Vince Carter at guard, along with Doug Christie, Tracy McGrady, Charles Oakley, and Kevin Willis.
I think that Toronto must get Willis going here. They've got to get points from him, and at the other end of the floor, Hardaway and Anderson must step up here, because 8 points at this time in the game, not enough, Dick.
Off of Oakley's miss, Christie with another steal. Again, third in the NBA in steals coming into this game, and he has picked off a couple, 3 actually. Here's Willis, defended by Austin. The baby hook off the front rim, but Willis alertly gets another chance. And that's the offensive rebounding that really pays off as this game goes on. Oakley shooting over Outlaw hits. Charles Oakley with a basket, and the Raptors lead by 5.
Now Charles is 3 for 5 on jump shots, and you can see that he's not in the normal movement of offensive flow. Everything that he is getting is on the kick out on the double teams.
Anderson goes back to Penny Hardaway and Grant. And Carter is all over the floor. Vince, that is, defending the forwards, guards. Anderson missing the three. And it hits the bottom of the 24-second clock, so the Raptors will take over. Very important game, as you know. The Knicks leading Charlotte. And they could vault over Charlotte if the Knicks win in the final playoff berth. Will Butch Carter's Raptors do the same?
Well, the main thing with Toronto, you have to play one game at a time. That sounds like, such a ridiculous statement. But every game that they play is against one of the 7 teams competing for spots 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, they've got a tough schedule. Everyone's a winning team.
That's right.
Willis misses, and the rebound taken down by Ike Austin. But as Butch Carter said, even if we miss, we got close and we know what we need to do to get in there. So it isn't an end-all for them to get in this year.
Now, they have plenty of young talent. The main thing with them is that they have to re-sign the free agents, and some of these guys are the major contributors on that bench.
Christie with his second personal foul.
Second team foul.
Raptors by 5. Opening minutes here of the second half. Here's Horace Grant, who's had the outside shot, but misses that time.
See, this first unit for Toronto does not get out on the break, exactly like the first quarter. It's a methodical half-court setup. We're tall, we're strong, but we're not quick. But when that second unit came in, that's where they picked up the 11-2, widened up the lead and got out on the break and made things happen.
The quickness lineup did it for him. There is Vince Carter, and that's a 3 for Carter. He has 12 points in the game, and you can feel the annoyance, perhaps, of the crowd here. They have seen this Orlando team drop 5 out of 6, and now trailing the Raptors by 8, and that's the biggest lead of the game right now for Toronto. And now the one official checks with the other.
I see, that's a good call.
Yep.
See, from my angle, that ball was not deflected. That ball was just thrown, a bad pass out of bounds.
That's what Joe Crawford saw. He was closest to you. Last night, the Magic blew a 13-point halftime lead to Miami. Now trailing by 8 points, the Raptors have the ball.
Dixie, you made a good point, and we tried to bring out earlier. This is Orlando's 5th game in 6 nights. So you would be thinking, hey, this is such a big game for them. The energy level would be at high, and we are seeing them. They're sleepwalking. They are like they're in cement here. This first unit, we're talking first unit now. First unit. Toronto is lulling them to sleep with this nice slow pace.
Yeah, and if they bring in the quick team, who knows what will happen to the Raptors. They may pull away again. Carter driving to the basket, tipped out into the hands of Nick Anderson. Shuttles it off to Penny Hardaway, who has only 4 points in this game. Hardaway has 4, Anderson 5. Those are the 2 leading scorers for Orlando. And Hardaway with a runner and a bad shot off the glass.
That no rim.
Christie for 3. And the long rebound by Outlaw, and Christie committing a
well, that's a silly
foul.
Silly foul is right. Now, that was his first miss in threes. He's now 3 for 4. He's having an excellent game, and he's not known as a high percentage three-point shooter. He shoots in the 20s, but tonight he's got it together.
But Christie has committed 3 fouls in 4 minutes here in this third quarter. And a very important member of this defensive unit, especially against those guards. Anderson goes back out to Hardaway. Here is Horace Grant, top of the key, and he hits. Basket is good, and a loose ball foul foul is called underneath. The basket will count.
Yeah, see, Vince Carter's all upset. Vince Carter's saying that, he got roughed up. That's his cry to Jimmy Clark, the referee. He complained to him as Clark made the call. Now, unfortunately, they get the basket on good ball movement. Horace Grant opens up, and then you get a foul.
And Outlaw will go to the line where he's missed his 2 previous free throws.
Now we know that he's a sub 50% foul shooter throughout his entire career.
But he was 1,000 that time.
Yeah, right. 1,000. Yeah,
One for one.
1 for 3. Right. One for 3. Wait a second.
But here in the second half,
This isn't the new math, is it?
No. I was not good in the old Oregon. Carter with that shot. And UB talked about that style of that semi-fall away off-balance shot.
He gets up so high on the shot, Dick. He kind of surprises the defender. The defender looks at it and says he's got a bad angle. And then because of the height of the jump, it turns into a high percentage shot.
Hardaway's pass underneath, nearly intercepted by Christie, but he stepped out of bounds.
Okay, Christie's everywhere tonight, Dick. He's really making it happen off the ball.
That's why the Raptors cannot afford to see him get into further foul trouble.
He's doing an excellent job on Anderson. He's kind of taking him right out of the action.
Here is Hardaway firing away, and the miss is a rough shooting night for Penny Hardaway, who is 2 for 8 from the field. It is 54-47, 7-point lead for the Raptors with 7 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the third quarter. And Austin is called for a hold.
It isn't like they're not going to Kevin Willis. They're going to Kevin Willis a lot. And then they are getting the double team down in there. And up until now, you know, Willis is struggling with his game, except he is accepting the double team and passing out. Now, he's 0 for 4, we know that, but he's made a lot of other things happen by ball movement.
But your observation, the Magic are not showing the fervor and fever of a team that is trying to challenge for home court advantage in any of the rounds. After the first in the Eastern Conference, they're behind Miami, and Indiana lurks behind them. Vince Carter, and the rebound taken down by Penny Hardaway. Under 7 minutes to go here in the third. Raptors by 7. Spin move, pass out to Grant, and
that was
the
a
foul before the shot.
That was a real mugging down inside by Willis. But you can see when Carter gets hot, how he's been putting in those nights of 30+.
14 so far.
Now keep an eye as they try to feed Kevin Willis down in the post. Charles Oakley is going to leave his man and double team. Well, his man goes right to the front of the rim. Well, the man defensing right here, he rotates to that spot. But what it does, it opens up the top of the circle for Horace Grant. Now, as they go down inside, they're using a big man trap. Now, with good ball movement and a good cut from the top, it will open up the top of the circle every time. Grant, 5 for 9. Majority of shots that he has made, all at the top of the circle.
Mike Austin, shooting 2.
Ike Austin on the line, shooting 2. Austin, you remember when he was with the Miami Heat, filled in for Alonzo Mourning, and made his name at that point. All of a sudden was established and a wanted big man. Clippers acquired him in a trade from Miami, and now he's with Orlando. And now, right now, Outlaw gives him a bit of a present, so I should say Austin does in the middle. On the shot clock. Christie, good double team, loses the ball. Grant with a fine steal.
Nice play by Horace Grant.
Hardaway controlling, looking for Outlaw inside. But very little movement by the Magic defense, and the steal by Vince Carter.
See, if you're going to throw lob passes against this team, you're in a lot of trouble because they're all 6'7", 6'8". They're very, very quick. And that was a foul on that lob pass, a foul by Austin underneath. You never, on a lob, push a guy in the lower back. The referees pick that up every single time. But this team is quick, Dick.
Austin picks up his 4th foul, and then everything stopped. I mean, everyone was standing around for the Orlando Magic, which is not the way you want to run an offense.
I think when you look at the Orlando Magic, Austin, we know, can score. But the thing which has been a disappointment, the lack of rebounding and the lack of hop with his back to the basket down inside. Can he score up over the top of the good defenders? Up until now, it hasn't happened.
Penny Hardaway sits down. Darrell Armstrong replaces him, and Michael Doliak has come in for Ike Austin as well. Here's McGrady passing out to Carter for 3, and Oakley wins the fight for the loose ball. And a bad pass to Armstrong, and Armstrong is fouled by McGrady, and there'll be a 2-shot foul. And a good call by the officials.
You see, right now what you do in the Summer League or somebody, you just make that foul. Unfortunately, it's going to cost you here. Now McGrady, we all know that Christie is third in the league in steals and just does a fantastic job. But we also know that at the other end, in Darrell Armstrong, we know that he is in the top 7 in steals.
Makes good on the first free throw. Orlando will be shooting the penalty the rest of the quarter. Coming up Saturday, NBC. NBA action continues starting at 8 p.m. with Showtime, followed by the Spurs hosting the Lakers. And how hot have the Spurs been lately?
You love the Spurs. They're 24-4 in their last 28. Duncan leading the team with David Robinson. It's very exciting to watch them play. Keep an eye on Darrell Armstrong now. He came into this game shooting 90% on the line, just knocked in 2 for 2.
And a three-point Raptor lead, 54-51. Willis lost the ball momentarily, but last touched by the Magic.
As big as Kevin Willis is, 7 foot. Black belt guy in every name of those destroying movies, karate, kung fu, whatever. All right, he has very small hands. And if you notice tonight, if you give him a shovel pass, a shocking pass, he has difficulty catching it.
So the question is, why do they give him that kind of a pass?
Give him a bounce pass. If you give him a bounce pass that hits the floor, it's easier for him to catch.
5 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Raptors calling a 20-second timeout, leading by 3. They trailed in the early going, but then established the lead. They were up by 4 at the quarter, and then held their lead at halftime, raised their lead to 8 before the Magic have come back, and it's a 3-point margin.
I'm sitting here right now, and I think that Toronto, in my mind, is up 15 points. But we all know that it's only a 3-point game. And we said at the top of the show that Orlando has trouble scoring because of low field goal, low 3-point, low foul line. But we also said that they are a good defensive team. That's how they hang around, because of the defense.
Carter with the jumper.
Oh, boy.
And that was a well-designed play by Butch Carter out of the huddle. And there is Mom, Michelle Robinson, cheering on Carter, who is 16 points tonight, the native of Daytona Beach. And potentially the NBA Rookie of the Year. Doliak turns it over, and the Raptors up by 5, trying to increase their lead. And Armstrong knocks the ball away from behind, gets the pass, and Carter takes it back. So back and forth they go, and nearly another steal. Christie misses the 3. Outlaw very nearly made it 4 steals in 4 possessions. Here is Darrell Armstrong, and all of a sudden we have the Jets on because Armstrong hits it. It's a 3-point game, and the tempo has increased dramatically.
Did we really have to shoot a 3-point shot at the other end of the block?
Yes.
I mean, so we naturally had to have a long rebound, fast break, summer league basketball here for about 30 seconds.
And that's why Darrell Armstrong is a 6th-man award waiting to happen, perhaps. Timeout, Toronto.
Elevate and get the shot off.
4 minutes, 13 seconds remaining here in the third. Raptors by 3. Darrell Armstrong with Nick Anderson, Michael Doliak, Bo Outlaw, and Horace Grant. And Doliak on the screen and roll gets fouled, and shaken up on the play for the Raptors was Alvin Williams.
Well, that was a hard foul. That was a very hard foul. You're going to see the ball come to the right side of the floor, and now here comes Doliak with a release. See, that's the old fake the screen and release early and catch the big man. And then what happened is the good rotation. We're going to foul you and force you to make the foul shots.
Alvin Williams nursing an elbow that got banged on that play. 1 free throw for Doliak, who has 7 off the bench, as does Darrell Armstrong. Harpering, who's not in the game right now, has 6. So the Orlando Magic getting mileage from their bench tonight. Trailing by 2 points. Oakley misses from the perimeter. The Magic can tie the game or take the lead with 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining third quarter.
Right now, Toronto basically has their second unit out there.
Illegal defense.
Yeah, Oakley and Carter. They caught Oakley coming across to double team. Now, once you make the commitment and pass the front of the rim, you must continue all the way. Charles came and then went back on his own man.
That is the 3rd violation on the illegal defense and the 2nd technical free throw. Darrell Armstrong 90%er makes good. So we have Alvin Williams and Michael Stewart in the game now, and Oakley, D. Brown, the three-point shooter, and Vince Carter. So Butch Carter, the coach of the Raptors, hoping that his team can maintain the lead with a lot of their second unit in there.
Now, you know they're going to make a run. They're at home. They have an explosive second unit. And also right now for you, you have your second unit out there.
Armstrong misses a three-point attempt. Nick Anderson walks it away for the rebound to keep it alive.
Yeah, good hustle.
Orlando showing more energy right now than they have throughout this game, as they make an effort to take the lead, trailing by one. Doliak leaves it for Grant from the side. Doliak, the offensive rebound, and the rookie from Utah has it rejected that time.
What do you got here now?
And that was Michael Stewart on the rejection. Williams missing from the perimeter, and the outlet pass from Outlaw to Armstrong. And Armstrong trying to get it to Nick Anderson, but he could not, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by the Magic, and you can see Chuck Daly put his head down because that was a chance for one of the easy baskets tonight.
You're looking at that and you say, why? Why are you trying to thread a needle? We have plenty of time in that fast break. And right now, we know that they have a number of turnovers, and when you say, if you have 13 turnovers, 14 for the game, you're happy. Already Orlando has 16, and we still have a lot of time left. Now keep an eye on this decision. See, that's a bad decision because you had a defender in between, and you had another defender running to make up the ground. And the one thing that Toronto has proven to us tonight is that their transition defense is pretty good because their guys make up ground with the long stride.
Bring you the menu of the games coming up on Turner Sports on the NBA. Coming up next, the Trailblazers and the Jazz. The battle for the best record in the NBA coming up next on TNT. On Monday night at 8 on TBS Superstation, the Lakers travel to Houston to take on the Rockets, and that could be a first-round best-of-5 matchup when the playoffs get underway. Next Friday night at 8 on TNT, it's a doubleheader. In Game 1, the Magic travel to Indiana, followed by Utah and Seattle, and that's Tuesday night, not Friday night. That is Tuesday night at 8, the doubleheader. That's all coming up on Turner Sports.
Now, Dick, if you're a Butch Carter right now, you're in that huddle, and you have got to get it across to your young guys. They are starting to complain now on every single play, and you cannot complain and expect to get every call. You are on the road. This is a big game for both teams, so you have to play this like a playoff game. You got to get after them. Get after them hard right now and because young guys don't understand the importance of non-calls. See, non-calls come with respect.
I'm just looking at this Toronto bench, and what a great baptism under fire. Guys like Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter and some of the others are getting. Even Butch Carter, a relatively young head coach, in a battle for a playoff berth on the road, and this team doesn't go away. They keep coming back and winning games when you expect that they're going to be out of it.
That's right. Every time that you think they're going to be buried, they come back and they beat somebody good.
And they got someone good tonight. And there is Carter from the top, missing the shot, and Outlaw clears the rebound. Raptors are still leading by one, but Orlando trying to change all of that. They've got their spark plug, Darrell Armstrong, in there. Penny Hardaway has been on the bench, by the way, for this comeback by Orlando. Outlaw fouled as he drives the baseline.
Oh, what a collision. Oakley and Stewart both collided. See, the pressure with this unit for Toronto right now is on Stewart. Stewart cannot disappear here right now. If Oakley's going to see Oakley come over there to try to pick up that, well, now Stewart has got to come to life. That was a good foul because you know yourself, if Bo Outlaw makes two, that would be a surprise. So you cannot let him dunk the ball.
Not only a surprise, it's an impossibility.
Yeah, well, you can see now they've had two hard fouls here, and the other one, Doliak made 1 out of 2, and right now you have a chance. Let's see what happens.
Charles Oakley with his 3rd personal foul, and Outlaw 2 of 5 tonight from the line, and we have a tie at 56-56. The Raptors did have an 8-point lead here in this 3rd quarter, but the Magic have come back, and they've come back with Penny Hardaway on the bench. He scored only 4 points. Loose ball, good hands. D. Brown fires up a 3, and he hits it.
Yes!
D. Brown hardly looked at the rim, picked up the rolling ball, looked and fired and hardly looked at that. That's his third three-point basket.
Now, that was a deflection by Outlaw on Carter, and they're using Outlaw to defense Carter. That just shows you how valuable that young man is.
Here's Michael Doliak hitting the jumper. 9 points for Doliak, and it's a 59-58 Toronto lead.
Oh, you got to love Doliak. Sure, if you have Austin, he's a low post guy. Doliak is an outside perimeter guy. They give you different looks. And you have to like the courage of Harpring and Doliak. They will take the shot.
48% shooter from the field is Doliak, and John Wallace, Tracy McGrady come into the game. And Doug Christie will check back in as well. So it's Michael Stewart, D. Brown, Tracy McGrady, John Wallace.
Now, this is a very quick unit out there for Toronto. But right now, they all have to emphasize defensive rebounding to help Stewart.
Armstrong trying to blanket D. Brown. Already has hit the 3 from beyond the arc. 2 on the shot clock. And McGrady doesn't know the clock. And he didn't get it off in time.
See, that's the guards' fault. The guards are the ones that have to keep their eyes on the clock. Basically, they're always facing the basket in the majority of cases. That is a guard turnover.
Well, the Magic trailing by 1 with 1:15 remaining here in the third. Doliak's been hot from outside. Christie the rebound, and the outlet to McGrady. Grant is back with him in the great play by McGrady, because Grant went up and McGrady went up higher.
McGrady was looking for the body contact. He was looking for the foul. But how about the baby hook?
12 points for Tracy McGrady. Doliak comes back with a smooth jumper. He has 11 and is the leading scorer for Orlando. It's a 1-point Toronto lead with 40 seconds to go in the third.
Stewart's got to pay attention. I don't think Stewart understands who he's playing. You know, he's laying off him like he's playing Austin.
He's not Austin. Doliak has that outside touch. Wallace working his way in. Outlaw gets a piece of it. And here is Christie. Christie hitting the basket, and that's another 3. And the last 2 3-point baskets, D. Brown and Christie, release fired. Toronto 10 of 18 from 3-point range. That's 30 points right there. 64-60 Toronto. Differential of about the 1.5 seconds on the 2 clocks. Outlaw to Doliak. Anderson gets it back, has a chance now. And here's Armstrong as time runs out. And that'll do it. That'll be the end of 3 quarters. So the Raptors led by 4 after the first, 4 at halftime. And guess what? After 3, they're up by 4, 64-60. We'll be right back.
With rookie Vince Carter leading the way with 16 points and 7 rebounds. Toronto up by 4 going to the 4th quarter. With me, Mama Michelle. Michelle Robinson, Vince's mother. You've been watching him for years. Why are you so stressful tonight?
Well, he's come home and he wants to do well. And I know he's wired. And I'll hear about it for a week after if he does not do well in this game, if they don't win.
Well, he's doing good so far. Congratulations. Enjoy the 4th quarter. Dick?
All right, Craig, in the 7th grade, Michael Jordan was a household name, and every player on Carter's junior high team wanted to wear number 23, but the mom said, look, it would make us proud if he picked a different number and made that famous, so he chose 15, and he will make that number famous, for sure. 4th quarter, it's 64-60, and Armstrong, Outlaw, Matt Harpring in for the first time in the 2nd half with Doliak. Penny Hardaway has come back as well.
See, there's that switch right now, and Outlaw has a guard down inside.
Doliak misses, tipped up, D. Brown, and McGrady winds up with it.
Right now, see, Toronto's small, and that's why I brought up that point about 2 minutes ago. You can play small, but can you keep Orlando off the offensive board right now? That's a big key here.
And an Orlando foul, and it is on Darryl Armstrong.
Now at halftime, Harpring and Doliak in just 6 and 9 minutes came in with 12 points and 7 rebounds. So you know that in short periods, you've got to pay attention to those 2 guys.
McGrady driving against Harpring and banks puts it in.
Nice.
Tracy McGrady with 14, Carter 16. So the two cousins have 30 of the Raptors' 66 points.
I agree with him. He thought he got fouled on the shot, and the fact that he had presence of mind to bank the ball. Excellent.
D. Brown guarding Armstrong, looking for Penny Hardaway in a tough night for Hardaway offensively. Turnaround misses. Doliak blocked by Stewart inside. Here's Harper driving in with another block, and Wallace comes down with it. So two big blocks that time by Michael Stewart of the Raptors. And McGrady with a spin move gets his own rebound, stripped away by Harper. A 3-on-1 break for the Magic, and Darrell Armstrong puts it in.
See, Christie could not afford another foul because he wants to stay out here as long as possible.
McGrady driving strong to the basket, showing no fear, and that's what perhaps that extra 20 pounds has done to him.
Well, you know that Toronto can play this kind of quickness with this unit. Anytime that you score, you got to get back because they can get it in and up. That's why we said that when this unit came out, they're very, very quick. You got to protect against the three, but you also got to understand who you are picking up.
McGrady on the free throw line. Bo Outlaw with the personal foul, and Tracy McGrady misses the first.
Well, he's a 69% foul shooter, but that one had no chance from the time it left his hand.
McGrady's numbers tonight, 7 rebounds to go along with his 14 points. You can see the kind of terrific foundation the Toronto Raptors have to build on, plus that new arena that you talked about earlier.
He got popped right on the nose, and he's smarting right now.
67-62, Toronto leading. 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth.
This is a big battle with Harpering and Christie down inside. Christie fronting Harpering on the low post.
Hardaway picked up by John Wallace. Doliak going down low. And here is Outlaw with the hook over McGrady. Bo Outlaw now in double figures.
See, he knows his range. The guy shoots over 55% every year that he's been in the league. All he does is take layups, second shots, and then the little baby hooks below the dotted line in the lane.
That's why he's the top shooter on this team, and the follow by Michael Stewart. But Outlaw, who was out, as you mentioned, 19 games, first with a strained calf and then a fractured fibula. That's when Harpering got his chance to start, made the most of that. Here is Doliak with the quick shot from the corner. 13 points for Michael Doliak. The Magic lurking down by only 3.
I tell you, when this young guy fills out his body, I tell you, he is going to be a force for this franchise. Meaning Michael Doliak.
Yes, and his season's high 25 points, and Bo Outlaw in on John Wallace, and that is the 4th foul on Outlaw. So Bo Outlaw and Ike Austin each with 4 personal fouls. No one on the Raptors has 4. A game of significance because the Magic have been struggling, losing 5 out of 6 and seeing their fortunes drop, and the Raptors trying to get in the playoffs for the first time. But a close game. We've seen them play big, the Raptors, quick. Orlando is lurking. What does it come down to tonight?
Well, Orlando's got to get Penny Hardaway involved. They've got to take care of their defensive boards and do a better job on the threes. Already Toronto has 10 threes. Now for Toronto, they cannot get caught with everybody banging the offensive boards and allowing a quick fast break attempt by Orlando. And then pay attention to Hardaway and do a better job on Doliak, because right now he's playing by himself in the traps.
And it's a good thing that he's produced tonight, because Hardaway and Anderson are pretty 13 between them. John Wallace and the basket and the foul. So John Wallace, an interesting story there, was acquired from the New York Knicks.
This is just a beautiful screen and roll with the man playing the screener getting caught on the double team. Beautiful pass and a fantastic finish by Wallace.
You know, you look at a guy like Wallace and Doug Christie, 2 former New York Knicks, and John Thomas, who we have not seen tonight.
And Charles Oakley.
And Charles Oakley. How can you leave out Oakley?
Yeah, right.
That's been the story of the front office turbulence of the New York Knicks as of late, with Ernie Grunfeld being relieved. Darrell Armstrong misses a 3-point attempt, and McGrady gets the rebound. That's points, 8 rebounds for Tracy McGrady. Here is Dee Brown, the three-point threat. In low, Wallace tried to get it to McGrady, tipped away.
See, bad pass. See, the ball, when you do those shuffle passes in close contact, especially in the lane, they're like bullets.
Here's Doliak, and Wallace gets the rebound. John Wallace, major piece in the scoring. Actually, he's the leading point-per-minute scorer on this team. And so far tonight, Wallace has 2 points. They need his offense in there. Here is Willis with a turnaround and an offensive foul.
Oh, wow.
And for Willis, that'll be his third. Technical foul.
Oh, wow.
And another technical foul. Or was that the same call?
Well, first of all, Joey Crawford had the initial call down inside with Willis and Doliak down inside. He had the initial call, called the foul. Now, Bruce Alexander made the technical foul because he was the referee at half court and saw what happened with the verbal abuse.
Right, and he gave it again because the scoring table did not see the first signal. So the technical on Willis. Raptors up by 4. Magic with the ball, plenty of time to go, 7:45 to go. Armstrong leaves it for Doliak. Dee Brown staying with him. The shorter man, and Outlaw's ball will drop.
Yes!
Bo Outlaw gets a little help. He's got 12 points, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point game. Outlaw has not missed from the field. Their leading shooter, 5 for 5. Dee Brown, quick shot and a hit. 3 more for Dee Brown.
I want to tell you something. You know, I love Dee.
I know you do.
Yeah, I really like him. I like him as a young man, and he had a tough time, you know, doing it in Boston at both sides. He took a lot of abuse, and I have never seen him shoot like this. What confidence.
That's their 11th three-point basket. And Armstrong getting the pass to Doliak over Dee Brown. And a Toronto foul inside.
Once again, Toronto switches. The guard is on a big man. The big man takes him right into the post. They look for the lob. They front, they look for the lob. And Christie, unfortunately, came across and went for the strip and picked up a foul.
7:02 remaining in regulation, and coming up next, it'll be the Jazz at the Delta Center against the Portland Trail Blazers. A big one coming up next on TNT. They're battling for the best record in the NBA, and all that goes with it. Of course, that's home court advantage, and it could be throughout the playoffs. Doliak with 1 free throw, and the Raptors with the ball up by 4.
Well, you got to admit, all of their fouls down inside, they have not been penalized because Orlando only makes 1 out of 2.
Carter over Harpring, one-hander. Vince Carter has all the moves, 18 points tonight for Vince Carter.
Now, he took a body bump by Harpring. That was the way to play him. He body bumped him, but the elevation was so high, it did not disrupt the shot.
10 on the shot clock. Armstrong missing from beyond the line, and the rebound by John Wallace. Orlando 1 of 9 from 3 on a night that Toronto is shooting well over 50% from that range. Wallace, and Kevin Willis slams it through, and a little bit of perhaps emphasis after getting the technical. Willis gives the Raptors an 8-point lead, matching their biggest lead of the game, and a timeout called by the Magic.
The Magic, too many forced 3-point shots. Now just watch the body bump by Harpring. Now watch it. There, it got him right in the chest, and it could not disrupt his concentration.
Raptors are up by 8. Vince Carter is having a big night, and his mom's enjoying it.
Come on, D! For 3! Yes! Come on, let's go!
18 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals for Vince Carter.
Well, you know what I liked about that? Mom also cheers for the other guys. she had D in her mind. Come on now.
Right.
She's rooting D home with these threes.
She's a Raptor fan all the way. Hardaway picked up by Willis. Now Christie double teams. And a whistle stepping on the line. Darrell Armstrong turns it over to the Raptors, and Toronto can establish their biggest lead of the game now.
See, all of this trapping has forced Orlando into a ton of turnovers, 18. Now, they force them to give up the basketball, meaning Hardaway or Armstrong, whoever is handling, and then it forces Orlando out of what they're doing offensively.
D. Brown gets it into Carter. Carter, and there comes the double team to Grant, but Vince Carter goes up anyway, and he blows a kiss to his mom as he comes up court. Now, I'll tell you one thing about Vince Carter, which is infectious, his enjoyment for the game.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, and he has primetime moves.
Yes,
Are you kidding? That was special.
Christie causes the steal, and the turnover, I should say. Christie knocked the ball off of Penny Hardaway, and that's why Christie, trying to stay in this game, he's got 4 personal fouls because his defense very important for the Raptors down the stretch.
He's been doing a terrific job all night long, playing the passing lanes, also trapping. Oakley traps when he's out on the floor, but Christie's been the trapper most. Now this guy has just been incredible what he's doing here tonight.
Raptors have their biggest lead of the game, 10 points. D. Brown misses from 3.
Should be a foul on Grant.
Yes, it should be. No. And instead, they're going to call it against John Wallace. So 4 fouls now on John Wallace.
Well, you're not worrying about your guys off the bench.
No.
That you're not worrying about. The main thing is that he continues to hop, get up on those offensive boards, and keep the ball alive.
10-point lead, and the Magic trying to narrow it down, and a whistle. And a foul away from the basket is on Doug Christie. 5 on Christie, so Butch Carter now sees his top defensive players, if not his best, with 5 personals and 4:53 remaining.
In the first half, Christie did a great job on Anderson. Now he's been matched up with Penny Hardaway. Now, you know, we can say all we want, you know, about, hey, get him some shots.
Hardaway gets one there and connects.
Well, you know what they did? They just switched. Isn't that amazing? Hardaway's now 3 for 10. Christie had him, and then they switched, and Christie went to the other side of the floor to play Horace Grant.
And that's a good defensive move by Butch Carter to get Christie away from what could be certain trouble, if not the 6th personal foul. Here's Vince Carter short with the one-hander, and Outlaw brings it up, so the Magic making a run, and Doliak gets the basket and the foul, and a great release. Did Doliak get up court in a jiff?
Now that's what we said earlier. You cannot allow Orlando to get any cheap fast breaks. Now, Kevin Willis tries to foul him so that he does not get the shot off, but watch Goliak go for the dunk. See, that's what you love. I'm telling you, Doliak and Harpring play with a high IQ.
But Doliak misses the free throw. Doliak's had a chance from the line, but has missed a few. He's 6 of 9, so it is 80-74, 6-point lead. And there is D. Brown with a great drive off the glass. Good penetration by Brown, who has 14. That's his first points other than a 3-point basket tonight. Doliak with Grant, Hardaway, Outlaw, and Armstrong, and a rejection by Carter. And we said more blocks than any player in the league other than centers and power forwards.
Now this is just great rotation by Toronto. They're scrapping, trapping, and here you think you have a sure one? No, because another shot blocker comes from a different angle. And you have to love what Toronto does. They are second in the league in shot blocking, second in steals, second in shot blocking, 7 a game.
That's defense. And Toronto now with 8 blocks of the game. Horace Grant sits down and replaced by Nick Anderson. So the Magic get a little smaller out there. Armstrong with a 3. So Darrell Armstrong, who's done his biggest damage in the 4th quarter this year. And it's a 5-point Toronto lead as we wind down to 3.5 minutes.
Well, Armstrong is due because he's having a tough night shooting here.
Christie playing with 5 fouls. Gets it over to Wallace. And no foul is called, and the pass intercepted by Nick Anderson.
Should have been an offensive foul. He definitely took that right in the chest.
Getting down to the 3-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. Outlaw backing his way in and lays it in. He just backed D. Brown all the way in and got the easy layup.
Yeah, I see. You can't do that, okay? D. Brown wants an offensive foul. He's at Bruce Alexander. You cannot allow him to back you down like that. Put the forearm in his back and hold him off.
Magic still alive.
Now keep an eye right here. D. Brown is trying to hold Outlaw with his hand. If you use the forearm across the back, you're much stronger, and then you can fight him. But right now, there's no resistance here at all, and that's what we tell you. Bo Outlaw is not going to take a shot outside of his range. His range is 6 feet.
Magic on a 9-2 run after the Raptors established their biggest lead of the game by 10. 2:48 to go. D. Brown working against Armstrong. Every possession critical down the stretch in what is a critical game with playoff implications for both teams. Here is Vince Carter over Anderson. And Oakley fighting for the loose ball, but it comes into the hands of Anderson. And the Magic down by 3. Here is Outlaw finding an open Nick Anderson looking to tie the game. And does not. Oakley gets the rebound.
Well, they're fortunate that they would put up a 3 at that time with plenty of time on the shot clock. Nick Anderson struggling, only 1 for 5 from the floor. Orlando has not been able to get Anderson and Hardaway good looks at the basket.
Hardaway tonight has scored 6, Anderson 5, 11 points for that starting guard tandem. Vince Carter again off the glass and he hits.
Are you kidding?
And he wants the ball in crunch time. 22 points tonight and a lead of 5 for Toronto.
That's why at the top we said, hey, they got the Rookie of the Year. Little did they know they got a go-to guy.
Exactly.
This guy is, he negates the defense.
Goliak is left open, and he misses the open shot, and it's knocked out of bounds. Well, neither team has a foul to give. The Raptors have 2 timeouts left, and Orlando 3, as the Raptors trying to hold on, get over the 500 mark, and really challenge for that 8th spot in the East.
So you're probably saying, how does Goliak keep opening up? Because they continue to trap the point guard at half court. Once the ball is passed into the middle and into the wing, he's wide open.
Anderson over the top knocks it out of bounds. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Tonight's game produced by Jeff Benke, directed by Larry Kam. Jim Allen and Jeff Randolph also part of our crew, and Marty Aronoff, our statistician. We have 1 minute and 31 remaining. Timeout called by Toronto, and we'll be right back. Raptors lead by 5, 1 minute 31 to go. Toronto with 1 timeout left. Orlando has 3, neither team with a foul to give.
Good timeout by Butch. You say, well, he left himself with only 1. He wants to make sure that he maximizes this possession. He's got 12 seconds on the shot clock. You have 1 minute and 31 to go. If you can get a score here or get fouled and get to the line, you have a chance possibly to put it away for yourself.
Remember the Orlando Magic 19-3 at home. One of the bad steal by Anderson. Bad pass, and Nick Anderson will come in and score. And a 3-point lead all of a sudden.
Yep.
That's not what Butch Carter wanted following that timeout.
No, you can never throw a floater, and you never throw a floater like that. That was a flop. You're not going to get that call in this game because they're not allowing chintzy calls here to be made with body contact. You've got to really take it as a man here.
7 on the shot clock. Carter inside. And John Wallace is fouled and will go to the line to shoot 2.
Once again, Carter off the dribble into the paint, draws 2 defenders, opening up Wallace going to the basket.
69% free throw shooter. 0 for 1 tonight is John Wallace.
Well, we told you as a team they're only 70% foul shooting team.
But he hits the big first one here. Knicks leading by 5 with 1.5 minutes to go against Charlotte.
I'm sorry, Dick. Toronto is a 76% foul shooting team. At the other end, Orlando is the foul shooting team that's at 70.
Wallace only makes 1 free throw, and the Knick lead is down to 1, too. So a lot of scrambling and excitement going on here in the Eastern Conference with Utah and Portland still to go on TNT. The Magic call a timeout, and we'll be right back. All right, Ernie, thank you very much. There's the time. There's the score with the Magic with 2 timeouts left. the Raptors with 1, and the Magic will inbound at midcourt.
You have to be prepared for the traps. And also, if they switch and a guard gets on a big man, you have to be able to take advantage of it.
Outlaw had the layup, and the foul is committed, and a good foul that time because Outlaw, not a good free throw shooter, had an easy layup.
See, once again, they catch the defense looking for the dribbler. And anytime that happens, you're going to see it right here. They came out the trap. They put the ball right into the middle. Now it's up to Outlaw. Now, unfortunately, we said Outlaw is 2 for 5 on the line tonight. But, hey, Bo's the man here tonight.
Yes, he is. And I'll tell you, that was Oakley knew to foul him.
Oh, absolutely.
Without giving him the shot. Doliak out. Grant comes back in for the Magic. Outlaw trying to bring Orlando to within 2. And he does. 2 critical free throws by Bo Outlaw.
First time this quarter that they've gone to the line 2 for 2 when Toronto has definitely fouled them for a purpose.
Interesting to see how the Raptors react on the road against a good home court team under pressure trying to make the playoffs. Vince Carter elevates and scores. 24 points for Vince Carter, and does he ever want the ball when it's on the line?
He stopped on a dime and elevated.
Here is Horace Grant open in the corner, misses, and D. Brown, of all people, gets the rebound, and he is sandwiched for the moment with a half a minute to go and nearly lost the ball, and he is down and appears to be shaken up.
Well, I would hope that there's a foul called here, okay? I mean, either that or he called timeout.
D. Brown jumped like the former slam dunk champion he is to get that big defensive rebound.
Now you can see he's calling timeout here before he gets dragged to the floor.
That's their last timeout. Just under 30 seconds to go in the fourth. The Raptors, out of timeouts, will inbound. Orlando still has 2 timeouts remaining in a 4-point game.
Now, they have to take the ball out on the side. They're going the length of the floor. The main thing right now is you're looking for a steal. You do not want them to run precious time. You're down 4 here.
Alvin Williams in the game for Toronto, and Oakley will throw a long pass to Carter.
Can you believe it?
And for some reason, it worked for Toronto, and then D. Brown is fouled, and of all the passes in all the gin joints in the world, the last one you expect from a veteran like Oakley.
Look at Butch. Look at Butch. I mean, the one thing that you do not want to do, I don't care how high Carter can jump.
He could have been out of bounds.
That's right. I mean, unfortunately, they get the right bounce.
Lady Luck may be smiling in the province of Ontario right now. The Toronto Raptors, and there's Butch Carter. You can smile when it goes your way. D. Brown making both free throws. And it's 89-83, a 6-point lead. The Magic call a timeout.
Now, plenty of time to go. When you're dealing with 26.5, you know that if they hit a 3, if they come out of here and go for a 3, you know that you only need 1 more possession. You put the press on, and then you go for the quick steal or foul.
Time running out for the Orlando Magic, down by 6 points with 26.5 seconds to go. 1 timeout left, and they need a bunch of threes.
One thing you want to do defensively, you want to switch. The main thing is do not foul a guy shooting a 3.
Here is Nick Anderson for 3, and he misses. Oakley the rebound, and a foul is called, and that may be all she wrote there, as Hardaway with only 6 points misses again, and Nick Anderson with 7 trying the 3 there, and it looks as if the Orlando Magic may be headed for their 2nd consecutive home loss, losing to Miami last night and Chuck Daly's team. Really in a tailspin if the Raptors go on and win this game. This would be their 6th loss in 7 starts in what looked so rosy about a week and a half ago. 20.2 seconds on the clock, but Oakley misses the first, and it's still a 6-point affair.
Nick, you look at the game, and the athleticism took over here tonight. We're not just talking Vince Carter. We're talking McCarty, okay? We're talking McGrady. He, and then also Christie, and then also Wallace off the bench. Every guy that they bring in, other than Willis and Oakley, has Athleticism, quickness, jumping ability, and they're just beating them to the spot.
Back here at the Orlando Arena, the Toronto Raptors lead by 7 points, and their top 3 scorers tonight. Carter with 24, D. Brown with 16, thanks to 4 3-pointers, and Tracy McGrady with 15. The 3 Florida guys did pretty well tonight with 55 points.
I would say so. The families are all happy, especially if they walk out of here with a W.
Blazers and Jazz coming up next. Inbounding is Anderson. Christie knocks it away and is called for the foul. By the way, Penny Hardaway and Nick Anderson, who have been struggling the last several games, are 5 for 17 from the field, and that's a big factor too in Orlando coming up short.
Now, if he makes both of these foul shots, you're in a 5-point game. You got 19 seconds to go. You put on the full court press. They are out of timeouts. Toronto has no timeouts, so you can put on the full court press. Then if you make the steal, you don't make the steal, foul. You still could do this if he makes both of these foul shots. This is major. Now they're coming with outlaw for Doliak because they're going to their pressing unit. So they're basically small out there right now, but Hardaway must knock in 2 foul shots.
Christie fouled out, having scored 12 points and had 4 steals, and that was major. And a critical miss there by Penny Hardaway.
That's their 10th miss of the night, and that's why we brought that up there in the game. They are a 69.9 foul shooting team, 70%.
1 out of 2, it's 90-84. Outlaw with 16 and Doliak with 16 tonight. Outlaw with his season's high with 16 points. And Harpering committing the foul with 18.4. But now it's a matter of time, especially if Alvin Williams makes a free throw here. If he makes 1 free throw and no timeouts left for Orlando, that's it.
Well, they bring Alvin Williams in because he's an 85% foul shooter.
Well, the Toronto Raptors, who win when you don't expect them to win. And there's the remaining schedule. And Hubie alluded to the fact that they're all teams that are ahead of them in the standings with one exception. Charlotte is no longer ahead of them. The Knicks beat the Hornets tonight, so the Knicks and the Raptors would move into a tie for the 8th playoff spot ahead of Charlotte. That's how dramatic this is going. Armstrong misses. Outlaw misses the stuff. 10 on the shot clock, and Harpering is fouled. So this is a tremendous victory by the Toronto Raptors on the road because, as Butch Carter said, I would hope to win 4 of my remaining games and 1 on the road. And he may get that 1 on the road right here, and it appears that he will. And the Raptors and the Knicks would move into a tie for the final playoff berth with Charlotte out right now. Blazers and Jazz coming up momentarily.
You're very happy for Toronto. They came in here with an excellent game plan. They're not going to allow Penny Hardaway or Armstrong to dribble all around and set up an offense. They continue to trap them all game long at half court, force them to make the pass, and then rely on their athleticism to rotate and keep Orlando perimeter. And it worked perfectly. At the other end, the fact that they made 11 threes is the major plus for their offensive sets. Then you got to really like what Vince Carter did here tonight. Vince Carter just showed to us why it's a runaway for this Rookie of the Year. He's spectacular.
He said when Charles Oakley came in, he said the team was 1-5, and Oakley started to have second thoughts. They were playing at Maple Leaf Gardens. They were playing at Sky Dome, 3 different arenas. And he says, look, just hang in there. We've got a new arena. We've got something to build on. And sure enough, they did. And the Toronto Raptors veterans buy into the fact that they don't have to be babysitters for these young players, that they just do what they've always done, and it's working in Toronto.
Well, and I'm very happy to hear that the people in the city are now backing the club, and every game from now to the end is a sellout.
Armstrong lays it in. It's 93-88, a 5-point game. D. Brown checks the clock and is fouled with 1.5. And this game history and a huge win. How do you like to come back to Florida, your hometown, Daytona, whatever it is, for Vince Carter, McGrady, Brown, the Toronto Raptors, Florida Flares.
Now, how about meeting the pressure of playing at home? Now, remember, Carter, the rookie, 11 for 23. McGrady, first game as a point guard, comes in, gives you a terrific, and then off the bench, D. Brown knocking in the threes.
Raptors shot 59% from the field in the fourth quarter, and that's when you have to get it done. They led by 4 in every one of the first 3 quarters and pulled away at the end. It is 95-88, and the final 1.5 seconds, and that'll do it. The Orlando Magic go down for the 6th time in 7 games, and the Raptors win it to go over 500, and right now they're in the playoff berth. So for Hubie Brown and Craig Sager, Dick Stockton saying so long. Right now, let's go to Utah and join Marv Albert.
Well, the nation got its first look at the Toronto Raptors, and leading Rookie of the Year, Vince Carter. You guys did not disappoint us. 24 points. You came in here. Any pressure about playing at home?
Nah, that's my focus. I just wanted to come in focused and don't worry about me being home, because this is a very important game. It's a homecoming for myself, Tracy, and Dee, but most importantly, we're trying to still make the playoffs.
That trio scored 59 points. You talk about going through the transition from college to the pros. You don't know what you're going to do. How surprised are you that not only are you the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year, but you're the go-to guy, and as Hubie Brown said, a guy that negates defenses?
It's an honor, first of all, I mean, this team has helped my transition a whole lot. I mean, they've given me the opportunity just to go out and just play basketball and don't worry about the other things. Charles takes care of his guys if they mess with me or whatever, but it's just fun, and I just play hard, and I credit the lockout for this success, because it's giving me the opportunity to go and work harder and just work on my jump shot, and now guys have to respect me for my jump shot and my driving ability.
You showed us all the moves tonight. Stopping on a dime, elevating, you used the glass, you hit the 3, and you even blew your mom a kiss.
Yeah, that was one of the shots that I think that was very special. It meant a lot, and it was a critical point in the game, and I just blew her a kiss.
Well, she's down here now. You blew her a kiss. Why don't you give her a hug in real life? Mama Michelle down to see her boy. As we mentioned earlier, Vince spent the night at his home, and it's a happy homecoming for the Toronto Raptors and Vince Carter.